Omicron is wreaking havoc across the world, spreading faster than any variant we've seen so far. Omicron was detected 26 days back, and in less than a month, it has reached more than 100 countries, infected more than 100,000 people. The world is bracing for another wave. The WHO is talking about ending the pandemic in 2022, but that is not going to happen, and I'll tell you why. Big Pharma. They won't let it happen. The Wuhan virus is their golden goose. Every wave of the pandemic is a wave of profits for them. Vaccine makers are rolling in money. Two companies specifically, Pfizer and Moderna, their profits have shot up again. Let me show you what US lawmaker Bernie Sanders has said, and I'm quoting. "This is obscene," he says. "Last week, 8 investors in Pfizer and Moderna became $10 billion richer as news about the Omicron variant spread. It's time for these pharmaceutical companies to share their vaccines with the world and start controlling their greed. Enough is enough." What was Bernie Sanders talking about? How are these investors earning such quote-unquote obscene profits? Through the stock market, shares of Pfizer and Moderna have jumped astronomically this year. In 2020, Moderna was a loss-making company. This year, it has made more than $7 billion in profits. That's massive. But it pales compared to Pfizer. Pfizer earned slightly more than $8 billion in profits in 2020. In 2021, so far, the company has already raked in close to $19 billion in profits. $19 billion. That's an astounding jump of 124%. So let me repeat this. Governments, doctors and scientists may be looking for ways to end this pandemic, but not Big Pharma. Pfizer and Moderna are busy perfecting their business models. On Gravitas tonight, we'll tell you how pharma giants are making sure this pandemic never ends. And we're going to start with the basics. The cost of making one dose of Wuhan virus vaccine, one shot. Do you know how much money Pfizer spends on making one shot? A British news outlet recently released some numbers, and you'll be shocked to hear this. Pfizer spends around $1 to make one shot. $1 or 76 pence, according to this report, for one shot. How much does it sell it for? Almost $30 or 22 pounds. So 30 times more than the cost. That's what the British government ended up paying for the Pfizer shot. What about Moderna? We could not find the exact number, but we have some estimates. Moderna charges anywhere between 4 to 13 times more than the original cost of the vaccine. Moderna offered its Wuhan virus shot to South Africa. What was the quoted price? $30 to $42 per dose. According to one estimate, this is nearly 15 times higher than the production cost. That's the cost of manufacturing. Now, Big Pharma would argue that they also spend on research and development, R&D. So that cost also needs to be recovered, which is fair. But let me tell you this. Pfizer and Moderna were incentivized to make Wuhan virus vaccines. They received government funding. They did not spend their own money. Moderna received $2.5 billion from the US government and its agencies. Where did all of this money go? In two areas, vaccine development and advance orders for the shots. Same is the case with Pfizer. Pfizer got close to $2 billion in advance orders from the US government. Pfizer's partner, BioNTech, had a grant from the German government. Berlin gave $445 million to accelerate the development of the shot. So both Pfizer and Moderna had financial support from governments to develop these vaccines. But they're still being allowed to set the prices of vaccines. These companies sell their shots at different prices to different countries. But looking at the estimates, one thing is quite clear. Pfizer and Moderna are making a killing from Wuhan virus vaccines, and they plan to keep this going. How? By making sure the vaccine patents stay in their control. Both the companies have separate game plans. Let me tell you about Moderna first. It wants sole credit for developing the shot. Now remember, Moderna made its vaccine in collaboration with America's National Institutes of Health, or NIH, which is basically the US government. So they collaborated with the government to make the shot. 3 government scientists were involved. John Mascola, Barney Graham, and Kizzmekia Corbett. The NIH argues that these 3 scientists made significant contributions to the Moderna vaccine, that they should be named as co-inventors. How does that help? If they're co-inventors, their names would go on the vaccine patent. And when someone's name goes on the patent, they also get to own that product. What does this mean for Moderna? If the names of these three scientists go as co-inventors, that would mean that the US government also owns the vaccine, which basically means Moderna will not have any exclusive rights. The US government could potentially share this vaccine patent with anyone they want to. So Moderna is now trying to stop this. In its patent filing, it names the three scientists, but not as co-inventors. Moderna says it made a quote-unquote good faith determination that they did not invent these vaccines. They just decided that by themselves, good faith determination, whatever that means. The NIH says this matter will end up in court. Here is what the NIH director argued, and I'm quoting again. I think Moderna has made a serious mistake here in not providing the kind of co-inventorship credit to people who played a major role in the development of the vaccine that they're now making a fair amount of money off. But we are not done, he says. Clearly, this is something that legal authorities are going to have to figure out. So this is what the NIH says. What's Moderna's response? They've put their patent application on hold. A report says the company wants an amicable resolution with the NIH. We'll have to see how that pans out. What about Pfizer? They're also facing scrutiny. Earlier on the show, we have told you in detail about Pfizer's secret contracts, how Pfizer forces governments to compromise on sovereignty for vaccines, how governments have been forced to put up military bases as collateral for vaccines, how Pfizer demands indemnity from legal prosecution, how the company decides the delivery schedule of shots. Basically, they decide everything. Turns out, Pfizer struck a similar deal with the UK government. Reports say the British government agreed to a secrecy clause. So if there is a dispute with Pfizer in the UK, it will be handled quietly and in secret arbitration proceedings. Health experts are alarmed by this, like Tom Frieden, the former director of the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Let me tell you what he says about Pfizer's business practices. If you're just focusing on maximizing your profits and you're a vaccine manufacturer, you are war profiteering. Why are we witnessing such a big battle over vaccine patents? Why are Pfizer and Moderna fighting to protect their patents and keep contracts hidden from the public eye? The reason is vaccine pricing. Vaccine companies have increased the prices of Wuhan virus shots. Did you know that? They cost more now. Pfizer and Moderna have already jacked up their prices. They've done it once. It happened in August this year. Europe had to pay more. Pfizer increased prices of its Wuhan virus shot by more than a quarter, and Moderna by more than 1/10 of the original price. And they can do that because of the secret contracts, by keeping the negotiations away from the public eye, by controlling the supply. This is vaccine blackmail. There's no other way to put it. Now, the world is talking about booster shots and realizing how much power has been vested in the hands of vaccine makers. They can hold governments hostage. They can force people to pay through their nose. Many health advocacy groups are raising an alarm because look at what Big Pharma is doing. Pfizer has suggested the future pricing of its Wuhan virus shot, it could change. And Pfizer in the future could charge, and listen to this carefully, they could charge $175 per dose. That's 148 times more than the potential cost of production, $175 for one shot. And they might even get away with it because secret contracts enable this kind of predatory pricing. And if you're going to need a booster shot every year for the foreseeable future, then vaccine companies cannot be allowed to set the prices. As of today, they're dictating every line and every clause of their contract. Governments around the world need to break this monopoly. They could start by ending secret negotiations, secret contracts, and breaking the locks on vaccine patents. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.